Guys, on this latest edition of War Week Boxing, we speak with five-decade fight trainer James Gogue and get his thoughts on what transpired this past Saturday night. All this and more on the latest edition of War Week Boxing with Coach James Gogue. Holdings proudly presents War Week Radio with five-decade fight trainer Coach James Gogue. Hey, thank you, Pat Summerall. Appreciate it, brother. Guys, it's my pleasure to welcome back and introduce the incomparable Coach James Gogue. James, how you doing, sir?
Hey, Joe, I'm doing good. I've been off a few weeks, taking a little break. Got to recharge yourself sometimes because, I was busy, getting ready for this fight a couple weeks ago in Mexico. So, I just needed some time off. Plus, to get re-energized. Start doing the show again and everything. So absolutely. Here I am. And we had some good fights last night. One guy, really came on to the big stage. Stole the show in the boxing world, and now you can consider himself one of the best top 4 pound-for-pound fighters in the world. And his coach, Robert Garcia, because of that performance from BAM, now he sticks out. He's the leading candidate for Trainer of the Year because Usyk fought this year, but nobody knows who his trainer is. Who else fought this year? I can't remember.
Ryan Garcia and Derek James, but Derek James, it looks like he's one and done with Ryan Garcia.
Well, the thing is, Joe, everybody knew, the way he circumvented the rules and everything. Okay, not making weight now, now testing positive for juice, but Bam's win was authentic. You're talking about a guy that beat, 3 great fighters back to back, Quadras. Then he beat Rumvasai. Now he's beating Juan Francisco Estrada.
He also beat the undefeated Sonny Edwards at 112 to be the unified champion in that division. Yep.
Okay. This guy, that Garcia, he did a lot of funny stuff to get that win. And I knew about that, and we talked about it on the show. But this BAM, you can see, look, you can't – talent, skills, don't lie. All right? You can see for yourself. Oh, God, this guy's a real talent. He's real skilled. He's taking apart these guys easily, okay? Easily. These are good fighters he's beaten, too, easily, okay? It's not like these guys are, B-level guys that are, that you fight on your way up, before you fight these guys. He went out there with all, 20 fights under his belt. He's only 20 years old, and he's beating these top-level guys, So, and he's looking impressive the way he's doing it. The high skill level, the intelligence, the punching power, his mechanics and technique, man. I used to watch Bam as an amateur, man, way back in the day when I was in Texas, man, when he was like 12, 13, 14. You could see his natural ability. By the time he was 14, he really had a pro style, Pro style meaning he set down good on his punches. He didn't move around the ring like all these, amateurs, point scoring. Bam had a pro style. Sat down on his punches good, made every punch count, picked his shots, and every shot he hit you with had maximum leverage. Okay, just the natural, just the way he throws his punches, the natural, good mechanics and delivery of his punches, man. When he hits you, boom. And now he's added angles to his game like Lomachenko, and he's a smart fighter. Okay, the foundation of Bam is his footwork. He's got real good footwork. He'll move in, then right when you're about to throw, he'll take a step out, 1 or 2 steps out, just to get out of range so he doesn't get hit. And when you do that a lot, man, it really screws your timing and rhythm up. When you're trying, as a fighter, you're trying to get in the rhythm, you're trying to establish your timing. All of a sudden, you got a guy that has an in and out movement where you can't time him, and it really screws you up. You think you got him where you want him in range, and all of a sudden you throw, then he takes a step back, then it makes you reach, and bam, what he does, he'll take a step back and he'll counter beautifully, like he did last night. He does that real good. He'll take a half step back just to get out of range, and then he'll throw 2-3 punch combinations. That knockout he had was he set a good trap. He was just touching him with a jab. Estrada, do a 1-2. He just stepped back out of range, hit him with that uppercut right here to the right side of his body. Then he pivoted to his right and hit him with that left uppercut.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. He leaned back. What he did was watch the tape. Estrada. He do that 1-2. He stepped back out of range just to make him miss. Okay, then he countered with that left uppercut to the body. Then he pivoted around to his right to get a better angle, to get a better to get a better not only an angle, but to get a better shot, a clearer shot of the target, which is the body. And when he made that pivot, oh man, that body was open. Okay, he just shot it in there and caught him beautifully, man. Yeah, that's what the angles do, Joe. It creates some openings better. Okay, when you shift a little, man, you got a better shot of hitting that target. And that's what Bam does. He does that beautifully, man. He's good. But his foundation is, like I said, is his footwork, that jab of his. That jab was affecting Juan
Francisco Estrada. Yep.
Yeah, that jab was affecting him, man. Every time, he was putting it in his face, it kind of like, discouraged him. And Estrada couldn't get in the rhythm. Okay, he couldn't get off, man, because that jab was in his face. And when you got a guy with a good jab in your face, man, it disrupts your rhythm big time. And not only that, when you got a guy with a good jab and he keeps busting you up in the face, your face starts fucking swelling up. That's the number one punch when you break down a fighter is that jab. Because you keep on getting hit consistently with it. As the rounds go on, your face starts swelling up, okay? And it sets the tone for everything else he needs to do. And like I said, Bam's footwork, his jab, and his excellent balance. He's always has balance, whether he's stepping back and countering, whether he's in the pocket. Okay, Joe, he has a good solid base, good solid foundation where he's strong. Where he's strong and he's physical, and he can land them power leverage shots he likes to land to the body, head, body, and he hits you from all angles. And the angles he loves to use when he's in the pocket, man. Yeah, if you're not ready for it, man, if you're not prepared to defend against him, you're going to get hit by him. And you can see Gallo Estrada, he had no defense against Bam's offensive attack. He didn't, the angles he was using, Bam, the jab, the straight left hands, the body shots, the angles, the step arounds, the left uppercuts to the body. He probably didn't get no good sparring to prepare him for a guy like Bam. You know what I mean? You can see he was lost. And you can see he was lost. He was unsure what the hell Bam was doing. And he wants the rematch now. He's not. Yeah, look, Joe, don't say. It was a mismatch this time, but next time could be. You don't understand that guy Estrada. Now he's got more familiarity with Bam's style. Okay, he knows all the stuff he does. He knows all the stuff that confused him. He knows all, like he said yesterday. I know all the mistakes I made, which a lot of it was reaching.
Yep.
He throw that 1-2, he overreached himself. Bam, a step back and counter. There's stuff like that. The mistakes he'll correct. Plus, he has more familiar with Bam's style, where hopefully he can improve his defense and not get hit by all those big shots and make it more competitive. Okay. And like he said, he was boxing. He should have boxed more. Me personally, yeah. But in Bam's a little bully. You got to get his attention. You got to smack him. You got to smack him in the mouth, like he did when he dropped him with that double jab, straight right hand right down the middle. Okay, all right. And that's the kind of punches you need. You gotta get Bam's attention. You got to put things in his head, and like, I'm not just don't let him just walk in there and do his thing. And but anyway, everybody says, the rematch, but the rematch could be different if, like he said, he's got more familiarity now. He's a veteran, okay? A former world champion, two-time world champion. So he knows, like he says, I'll know and I'll correct my mistakes, and hopefully he'll get some good sparring, his coach, Caballero, I think his name. He's a good coach. But now they got more familiarity with style. They're like, okay, I'm going to correct my mistakes now. Okay. It's like sparring, Joe. You fight a guy, you spar a guy, man. He just comes in the gym. You're not familiar with the style, and you're getting the shit whipped out of you because, you're getting hit with punches that you never seen before. But the more you spar, the more familiarity you get with him, and you get better. Your eyes get adapted to what he's doing. Shit like that. And a veteran like Estrada, he should be able to adapt. Now, his defense got to get better, man. He was just terrible, man. I mean, he was getting everything. The way he blocked punches with his face. He had no real solid skills in blocking punches, moving his head. His footwork was good, but when Bam got in range and he couldn't move, he had no, head and upper body movement. He had no ability to block all those punches correctly. But anyway, like I said, good fight. He made a statement. He's one of the top pound for pound fighters in the world, and there's going to be a big argument. The four guys. Me, I still say it's Usyk. He's a heavyweight, and he beat Fury. He beat Joshua. He beat DeBose. I still say it's Usyk right now. Who's the best pound for pound fighter in the world. But Bam, just being mentioned in that category with Inouye and Crawford, man, you're a pretty damn good fighter. But, Robert, like I said, Robert's on that fight right there established himself as now the, leading candidate. Trainer of the year. Oh, yeah, he's right now. Because I can't think of anybody else. And Robert got two other good fighters. Ortiz, if he makes a big hit against that punching that guy that blocks punches.
Boachuk.
Yeah, the guy that blocks
punches. August 10, Vegas. Yep.
Which Virgil, you don't got no defense against Virgil. You're gonna pay the price. Then he's got Murataya.
Murataya. Yep.
Yeah, Murataya. I can't remember these fucking.
He's gonna be fighting this weekend on the undercard of Shakur Stevenson versus Artem Harutyunyan. He's gonna be fighting on the undercard, and so we look forward to that. That's gonna be
Joe. Listen,
yes,
Joe. Listen. He's got his guy positioned for big fights. All right. Yep. If he wins these fights, ain't no reason why Robert shouldn't get nominated Trainer of the Year. That's something nobody's talking about, but that's something I see. So let's see what happens.
Very good. And one thing I did notice, and it's almost like they listened to your keys to victory, Gogue.
Oh, man, I called it.
El Gallo Estrada, he was trying to move towards his left away from that power hand, but he was just too slow. And from mid to long range, Bam was just moving in and out like a needle, sewing machine needle, and tagging him at will, forcing El Gallo Estrada to lunge in, like you stated. And then after round 4, he seemed to make the adjustment and said, you know what? I need to cut off this guy's reaction time. I'm going to move the fight towards the inside, take the lead a little bit more. And he seemed to have a little more success until he couldn't see those little adjustments and that liver shot coming from
No.
such close range?
Everything. I did a preview. A lot of you guys, I don't know if you listened. It was a late preview. We did it like, I think, Friday afternoon.
No. It was yesterday, a couple of hours before the fight.
Oh yeah, shit, I forgot. Yeah, because I was busy all week, but I did a preview. Everything how I broke down that fight, how the fight would play out exactly to the letter T. I called it the way Estrada was going to fight him. The keys to victory if he was going to win this fight, and how Bam was going to fight him. The keys to victory. I called it right on the money, man. And the thing is, I didn't even watch no tape of these motherfuckers. Okay.
Yeah.
I didn't watch nothing. I just, I watched them before, and I seen in my head all the little things they need to do to win the fight. And Bam, all the stuff he does, all the unique stuff he does too. He's a look, man. You can't. I was talking to messaging. What's his name? Hall of Famer Canizales, Orlando. And I was telling, I was saying, he goes. I was talking about natural talent. You can't teach, you can't give a fighter natural God-given talent. That's God's will. Only thing as a coach you could do is assist him in developing and molding that God-given talent. Okay, that's all. You mold it. You develop it and help him cultivate it. Okay, but the God-given talent he has, man, you can't teach that. You can't give it to a fucking fighter. He either has it or he don't. Some Bam has it. Okay, I noticed that when he was 14, man, when he was fighting in the amateurs. I'm like, man, this little motherfucker, man, he's got a pro style. He's got a pro style already, man. And the way, you can see the impact of the punches when he was hitting his opponents, man. He was knocking guys out, and he was putting his combinations beautifully to get, just like he's doing now, man. It's just, when he turned pro, he added a lot more, dimensions to his game, and the angles, especially. That's something probably the last 2 years I've seen Bam add to his arsenal. Okay, see, Bam, he's smart. He him and his people, they say, okay, we're gonna add more stuff to our game, so we're gonna add angles. Okay, that gives him more weapons in his arsenal, and the more weapons you have in your arsenal, man, when you're fighting good fighters, boy, you're gonna need them. Okay, because that's gonna be the difference. That's gonna separate you in a fight. And Bam, yeah, man, he added all that. Plus, Robert and his son. You got to give credit to his son, Junior Pita. I think it's Pita. Yeah, man, I'm not good with
Pita.
him.
Yep.
He puts a lot of work.
That's right.
He puts a lot of work in with that guy, man. A lot. I seen him, man. He put. I mean, on the videos and stuff. He puts a lot of working with that kid. So you got to give him credit too. He's him and Robert and the sparring Robert got for him in the gym, because Robert's got great sparring in that gym. The Robert, Robert's gym, he's got great sparring, and the what do you call it? The multitude of talent he has in his gym. Where like Manuel. One of the reasons why the Crunk was a fucking powerhouse is in the 80s and the early 90s, because Manuel had some bad motherfuckers in that gym. When you got guys like Thomas Hearns, Milt McQuarrie, Mike McCallum, Jesus, Tate, Frank Tate, Thomas Tate, Michael Moore, McCallum, Mark Breland. Yeah. Oh, fuck. Man, that's online talent. Jesus. Yep. And when you got that in the gym, you got that, that championship that championship atmosphere, that which develops that championship mentality. And that man. Robert's got that in. He's got a lot of good fighters in the gym, man. I saw him in Aguas Caliente back in May, and he was telling me, man, about God. And I was like, damn, you got a lot of sparring. He was, oh yeah. And there's always guys coming to Robert's gym, because once you got a hot gym, everybody wants to train there. So he always got new talent coming into his gym and everything. He'll never have a shortage of fighters. Yeah, because because of the success he's having in the gym.
And there it is. I tell you what. So what is on the road ahead for both fighters? And once again, El Gallo Estrada wants the rematch. Where do you see this fight taking place? Do you see this Eddie Hearn bringing the roadshow home to San Antonio in the Alamo Dome for the rematch?
That fight's a natural for San Antonio. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Bam's from San Antonio. San Antonio is one of the hottest markets in boxing.
Yep.
Oh, rabid, loyal, ticket buying fight fans. Okay. Yeah, man. A fight and the way Bam performed, the performance he made, he made a big stage. They should bring it back to San Antonio, but they must have paid Eddie a lot of money to bring his circus over there to Arizona. You know what I mean?
That's the only thing that would make sense, Gogie.
Yeah. It's San Antonio. That would be a big fight, man. The rematch, and Gallo, correct those damn mistakes, get better sparring. Now he has more familiarity with Bam does and everything. Okay. But if he could make those adjustments, it'll be a more competitive fight, but Bam's still going to win.
Yep. And that's how he got the knockout. Once again, he was having a little bit of success in rounds 5 and 6, Gogie. 5, 6, and 7. I thought 7 before the knockout, that was his most competitive round. El Gallo Estrada. Until it wasn't. It's like, that's the problem. It's like pick your poison. How do you want him to beat your ass? That's a problem. But guys, I want to say hello to our dear friends in the chat, starting with our brother Sly Tendencies. Thank you for the $5 super chat, sir. It says Bam is such a dynamo, coach. Were you at all impressed with Claggett's chin and endurance against Teofimo Lopez? People keep asking who he is, but I thought he did well. From Canada, Steve Claggett, former 147-pounder, came back down. He was on an 8-fight win streak, 7 of those wins by knockout. What were you more impressed with? Because Bob Arum didn't seem too impressed with Teofimo Lopez. What would you attribute that performance to? A tough, rugged piece of meat like Steve Claggett, who wasn't going anywhere? Or do you think that was a lackluster performance from Teofimo Lopez, who should have gotten that guy out of there?
Look, man, that was a tough, durable guy, determined guy. He kept on fighting to the very end, man. So you got to give Claggett your props, respect. And you can see he was limited. He's just a physical guy. Just put the pressure on you, try to wear you down with volume punches. But Teofimo Lopez, shit, what the fuck? That guy don't fight enough. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Hey, fuck, man. What does he fight? Look, what they showed us box rec. He's fought in what? Look, check it out, Joe. Over the last 7 years, he's fought 6 times. I can't remember. Yeah, check it out, man. He's fought. What the fuck is that? What kind of price? And the guy's I can see he's in his fucking prime. And he's fought, what, 6 times or 7 times in the last 6 years? The fuck is that?
Well, I'm looking it up right now, Gogie. Well, look, he was setting the world on fire before fighting Vasily Lomachenko. And then he had George Kambosos Jr., his lone fight in 2021. And then he fought 2 times in 2022, failed to sizzle once against Pedro Campa, knocking him out in 7th. And then Sandor Martin.
And then that Jermaine Ortiz was a duck. That fight was a tough. So how many fights, Joe, has he had in the last count?
Killer. Yep. And then Josh, since beating Vasily Lomachenko in 2020, October, fought 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 times. But here are the names. This is what's most remarkable. This is a guy who everyone wants to see him fight a who's who at 140. And he's fought Pedro Campa, Sandor Martin, Josh Taylor, in which he looked like the Teofimo of old. And then Jermaine Ortiz stunk out the joint. And then Steve Claggett. That's it. So I think everyone wants, here's the problem, biggest knock on Teofimo Lopez, everyone wants to see him fight the perceived best at 140, Joe, he's just not doing it.
Listen, Joe, he's fought 6 times in 5 years. Okay, you don't fight. You don't fight. He doesn't fight often. So if you're gonna fight, you're once a year. Make sure the opponent's good. All right, not this not this guy. Okay, no disrespect to
that. Yeah, that's the problem.
Whatever that guy. Yeah, you fight
Steve
good
Claggett
guys
from Canada.
Okay.
Yep.
Yeah, Joe, he's fought.
Look, yeah, that's
6 times in 5 years. What
yes,
the
sir.
fuck is that? Great champions in the past fought 6 times in 1 year. Let me give you an example, fans out there. You guys don't know, know nothing about boxing. Okay. James Toney. Okay. Right when he beat Michael Nunn, I remember when he upset Michael Nunn for the title. 7 weeks later, he was back in the ring against Reggie Johnson, WBA, WBA middleweight champion at one time. Reggie Johnson is a solid fighter, and Tony fought Nunn, top of the line. Then 7 weeks later, he fought Reggie Johnson. I remember the time he stays busy, but then if you look at his track record, there's always activity on. There's always consistency in his activity with Tony. Then another guy, golly, man, that's the way fighters were back then. Then who else? When he fought Barkley, after he fought Barkley, that 4 weeks later he was in the ring with the guy just to stay busy. You know what I mean? It's the activity, man. That's what, man. I was saying on the show. Activity is a fighter's best friend. Staying active is a fighter's best friend. Inactivity is a fighter's worst enemy. Man, there ain't nothing worse in the world when you're on the shelf. Okay, the rust starts building after 3 months, Joe. Okay, you're not in a real fight after 3 months, 4 or 5. Man, let me tell you, man. You start getting into 5-6 months. Oh, my guy. The promoter, I'm still kind of fucking pissed off at it. I'm still pissed off at it. My guy, Ibram, I like him. He's got a lot of ability. They kept him off for 8 months. That was his first fight we had 2 weeks ago, 8 months. Oh, I could see the rust right off the bat, man. First month, it took him 3-4 rounds to get into the groove and everything. But you know what I mean? You could see, just not being in the ring. He was, kind of nervous too. He hadn't fought in a long time. You could see that. That, what do you call it? That nervous. Yeah, because he hasn't been to a real fight, the professional process, I call it. Going for the fight. No, getting ready for a fight. Okay, making weight at the weigh-in. Rehydrating. Going to the arena, getting in the dressing room. That's when the nerves start building up. Getting your hands wrapped, loosening up, then waiting for them to call you to walk out. Okay, and then getting in that ring, man, it's different, man. There's sparring and there's real fights. And, once you get 3 months, you start getting rusty, man. I don't give a fuck what anybody says. I've been doing this shit long enough. I know. But if and it takes, when you get in that ring, it takes you, a few rounds to get in that, to get that feeling back, to get the timing and rhythm, okay, to get your distance right, okay, to get your combinations flowing. And you're still going to be rusty though. You got your timing and rhythm and you're flowing good, but you're still going to be rusty because you ain't been in that fucking ring in a long time. And Teofimo, come on, I don't give a fuck what anybody says. You can't, what do you call it? Reach your potential as a fighter if you only fight once a year. And the thing is, like everybody's saying, oh man, we had enough of this shit. Okay. Claggett, Jermaine Ortiz, and before that, Pedro Campa. Man, we want to see him fight a guy like Haney or a guy like Tank, somebody in that weight division, And, that's why you see my attitude. You see my attitude, Joe, the last 4 years, man, about boxing, man. I haven't been excited about the sport because it's not being played out the way it used to be, the way I grew up in it, when fighters actually fought and stayed busy. Yep. And they fought fighters. Man, Tony, that motherfucker is the last throwback. You'll never see a guy like James Toney in boxing nowadays. What he's done, like I said, fought Mike McCallum. Fuck it, they did the rematch real quick. Then they did the trilogy right after that, real quick. Then right after that, Tony, he stayed busy, fighting Roy Jones and everybody else, man. You don't see that nowadays. What did Tony say? I remember I seen him in an interview the other day. He was talking to all these, these fighters nowadays. and I don't want to mention their names, but he was clowning them. He goes, I fought in the real era of boxing. You motherfuckers are fight in a pussy era. See, there's my era, the real era, and your era, the pussy era. He was telling them guys that, and not, hey, what the fuck they're gonna say? You know what I mean?
Yeah, that's true.
Shut the fuck up. They're gonna shut the fuck up and keep their thumb in the mouth because he's right. You know what I mean? He fought tough guy, like I said, beat Michael Nunn for the title. 7 weeks later, he fought Reggie Johnson. Reggie Johnson's a good fighter. You know, he's a world champion, WBA middleweight champion, knocked out William Joppy. Not William Joppy, William, golly, the guy from St. Louis. Golly, man, I can't remember his name, man. He's a southpaw, good fighter. William Guthrie, yeah. But anyway, yeah, man, the fucking, that's why I don't get excited about these motherfuckers nowadays. I look at them, like, oh, Jesus, there goes that once a year fighter. I said,
well, look, to the defense of the top-ranked brass, they wanted to get him in big fights, and Teofimo Lopez being the delusional, Devin Haney-esque mentality, he prices himself out. They wanted him to compete in Saudi Arabia against Ryan Garcia, and that fight was all but done, but he wanted the lion's share, even though he's not the big ticket seller, because he had the title, he was the lineal champ. He wanted a 60-40 split with Ryan Garcia, someone who's a much bigger. So to their defense, they wanted the big fights for him. And this is why Lomachenko is getting tanked, not Teofimo Lopez. One, it's a unification bout. And two, it's more cost effective. Teofimo he's a legend in his own mind. He still thinks he is the top earner at 40. He's pricing himself out of all of these events. Gogue. And that's according, I can't name names, but you already know who they are. That's the top, the brass at top rank, the matchmakers, right?
Fuck them. That's what I say. Fuck you.
Once again, they think that they're superstars already. Now he's still living in the past. He's living off of the reputation of beating Vasyl Lomachenko and becoming undisputed at 35, and then becoming, well, the lineal champ and the WBO champ, beating Josh Taylor. But aside from that, he's done nothing, absolutely nothing, and it's his own damn fault, right?
When did he beat Taylor? 2 years ago?
No. That was last year. That was in 2023. But he fought Jermaine Ortiz since then, Super Bowl weekend, or Super Bowl week on a Thursday. Stunk out the joint, and then, well, he just fought Steve Claggett.
Yeah, man, this next fight better be good, man. It better be against Haney, or that's another motherfucker that overprices himself. That little fucking straight up bitch. Fuck him too, man. Fuck him too. So otherwise, these fights ain't gonna get made, all right? Because these motherfuckers. That's it. Man, look, man. When you overprice yourself, that tells me you don't want to fight. You don't want the fight. Both guys don't want the fight. Okay. But I remember Leonard fought Hearns the first time. I remember Emmanuel. He went to Baltimore to go meet with Leonard and his lawyer, Mike Trainer. I think Trainer. Yeah, I can't remember his name. God dang. But they made the fight. They wanted that fight to happen, so they made the fight. They didn't ask for outrageous money where the fight which would have killed the fight. They asked. They sat down. Hey, this is what's reasonable. They made the fight. Okay.
Yeah. Back then, the fight. Yep. And back then, you didn't have a problem with guys getting paid inflated purses. And once again, Haney's issue. Yeah, it's very hard to fault Haney because Eddie Hearn has paid him inflated purses well beyond his realistic market value. And now this guy is trying to sue Ryan Garcia, thinking that because of this, well, he was in shock when Bob Arum in Top Rank was the only promoter to bid on him versus Sandor Martin, and he felt insulted. Well, hell, welcome to reality.
Fuck you, Devin Haney. How's that? Fuck you.
Yep. I mean? The sport of boxing will move on.
Yeah.
Okay, it will move on. So, guys, we'll move on as well.
And he's not an exciting fighter. All right, Devin Haney.
He's not a big ticket seller. Never has been. In fact, in his last 5 fights, He was the A side in only one of them. And it was a pay-per-view flop against Regis Prograis, selling less than 50,000 purchases.
Okay, fucking what star power he has. Oh, God. 50,000, man. Man,
Yep.
Hey, Joe, the people that do 1 million pay-per-view buys nowadays it's rare. Canelo don't even do it no more. Jake Paul, well, that's a little circus show he does. He's probably the only one that's driving a mil plus. They said I thought Ryan Garcia did 1 mil against Devin Haney, but I hear he only did 500,000. You know what I mean? So,
well, I'll tell you what, that's another show entirely, but it depends on who you ask. It depends on who you talk to. So and once again, it's of no consequence because Haney, Oscar's right. He doesn't sell. And on cards that do sell that he's involved with, he's the overwhelming B side. He's the underwhelming B side on all of these. Now, there's a reason why he went to Australia twice, because that fight is worth more in Australia. If you put that fight with Kambosos in America, in his hometown of Vegas, it doesn't sell. It doesn't sell. So there's a reason for all of that. Against Vasyl Lomachenko, even though it was Vegas, even though he was the undisputed champ, the crowd was overwhelmingly in favor of Lomachenko. The boos at the judge's verdict proved that. So once again, guys, we're moving on. That's a big problem in this division, though. Prima donnas who don't live in reality, and that's Teofimo's problem. That's why he's not getting the big fights. It's not Bob Arum.
And who do you blame? All those motherfuckers like Hearns, Heyman, that spoiled these bitches. All right.
Yep.
That gave them, caved into their demands and gave them this fucking money they didn't deserve. Now you got, look, Joe, when you start doing that, okay, and giving these fighters, good 7 figures, when it's time to negotiate a purse, they're never going to accept less. And you seen Haney. He thought it was fucking insulted. $1.5 million. That's all. Yeah, well, that's his market value. Nobody gives a shit about him. That's the only amount of money someone wanted to invest in the motherfucker.
When you actually closely examine Teofimo's situation, it was the Triller situation. Do you remember that, Coach? When it came time to purse bid, once again, he felt insulted because he was an undisputed champ at 35. When it came to his title defense against George Kambosos, he didn't like the money. So he forced it to purse bid, and Triller won the bid, paying him a ridiculous amount of money. And since then, he's had this inflated sense of worth. That fight didn't even take place on Triller. So once again, he's been delusional since, and I couldn't care less. If he wants to come back down to reality and start making the best fights possible, then guess what? I'm going to start paying attention to his career again. But until then, he's a non-factor. He's a non-player. He's living in delusion. He's living in fantasy land. But guys, let's move on. We're already 38 minutes in. We have a lot to talk about in the schedule coming up. Jesus M, welcome to the show, sir. He says, Bam is top 5 pound for pound. Usyk, Crawford, Inoue, Beterbiev, Bam. You know what? That's not a bad list.
The motherfucker don't fight enough. He always gets injured. Come on, man.
That is true. That is true. Jesus
Let him beat Bivol, then we can talk about it. Let him beat Bivol, then we'll talk about it, okay?
Well, I don't know if that fight's going to happen. We're going to talk to Iceman John Scully tomorrow. Get an update on Artur Beterbiev. Bam is destroyed. Top guys, man strength still not there. That means he's basically.
Are you fucking kidding me? He's got the man strength, man. Shit, the hell are you looking at, man? He's got the man strength. He's hurting these guys. He's knocking them out. Every time you can see when he hits these guys, that's man strength. Okay, Pino Cuevas. Okay, when I told this story a lot of times. Don Chargan told me when he was 14. He turned pro. When he was 16, he was knocking out grown men. He had just a natural puncher. When he was 18, he was world champion. Okay, some guys have it. When the Canelo, I hear, was like that. When he was younger, he was physically strong, natural puncher. Bam got his man strength. Okay, all right. He's knocking out good 4 solid fighters in a row. Come on, man.
Yep.
Yeah, I think he's got man strength.
Well, I think what Jesus means is he's still getting better with each performance. I think that's what he means.
Yeah,
Alberto,
of course,
welcome to
man.
the show,
But
sir.
you can't say he's got man strength, okay? He's got man strength.
Indeed. Alberto, welcome to the show, sir. It says, salute Joe and Coach. Salute to you, my friend. Two boxing historians. Thank you, sir. Also, did Coach take Big Rick's Sunday slot? Just joking around. Well, look, guys, I talked with Big Rick, and I wanted Coach Gogue. I thought it was imperative for you guys to get his assessment of all the fight action only the way James Gogue can. And Rick had no problem. Rick's going to be on the show tomorrow evening.
Rick's a team player.
He is. He's a great guy, and he's one of my brothers. So thank you, Rick, for stepping aside and moving to Monday for this week. So, Alberto, we've got potentially 3 shows lined up tomorrow, right? Iceman John Scully, Jesse Rodriguez, and then Rick Glazer. So
Bam's going to be on there tomorrow?
Yep, Bam and his father. Yes,
sir.
Good.
Good for them. Good job.
Yep. We're going to talk about his future and where the rematch is going to be, because they've got a lot more negotiating power this time around. Okay? So we're going to talk all about that tomorrow. I already know the answer to this, but yeah, we're going to let you guys hear what they have to say.
Good.
They're great guys, man. I love Jesse. Jay, salute to you, my friend. Thank you for being here. Juan, salute to you, my brother. Thank you for supporting the coach on this day. Iceman, welcome to the show, sir. I like Bam, but he's a snack fighter. Well, you know what I think, guys? Honestly, everyone at the elite level, if they're working with a conditioning expert, you already know what I think, guys. We're not going to touch on that. Rodney Evans, what's good, Joe and Coach? Coach, man, did Osterine have anything to do with Haney's game plan or keeping his right hand up? Can Juan make it a better fight? Second time out off the layoff. Juan? Juan Francisco Estrada. Yeah.
I already talked about that. Yeah.
Yeah, but look, what basically he's saying is Ryan beat that ass. And do you think it's right that they're blaming it on the juice? Osterine testing positive the day of the fight and the day before the fight.
Blaming that? It's a combination of stuff. You know what I mean, Joe? His bad defense in the fight. Ryan intentionally not making weight, so he had to kill himself to drain himself. Fight night. Then on that shit. You know what I mean? A combination of things. You know what I mean? But I've said that in the past. I suspected Ryan was on that shit 2-3 years back, just by looking at pictures of him, growing up. And when he started, putting all these pictures on Instagram and social media, how his body just changed. I'm like, that shit don't look natural, man. And I could tell when somebody starts getting on that shit. Now, I don't want to name names, man, because I don't want to be sued. But I could tell somebody. I could tell when my suspicions get alerted when somebody's using that shit. You know what I mean? The way their body changes, how physically, well-defined, ripped up. You know what I mean? I'm like, Jesus, man. You can't get that naturally. You got to have some type of assistance. Yeah. Anyway.
And guys, we're moving on. Eric R. Salute, gentlemen, and Coach Gogue. Thank you for supporting the coach on this day. He says, Coach, is Bam ready for the monster, Inoue?
Well, like Bam said, right now it's fantasy. And he's 2 weight divisions higher. Come on, man. You know what I mean? That's why there's weight divisions. Yeah. Yeah, because and I don't think that fight will happen. Anyway, he's going to move up to 26. Bam will move up to, bantamweight, when his body fills out more. You know what I mean? So, yeah.
I'll tell you what, guys.
That would be the hottest fight in the little weight divisions if that fight happened.
Yep. And guys,
that's a fight that motherfucker Turkey, he would buy. He would pay these guys a good chunk of change to put that fight on. Well,
guys, look. Here's the primary reason why these fights in the lower weight division seem to happen more frequently than the ones at junior welter, junior middleweight, all of those. Because they don't expect the promoter or a network to break the bank. They have no problem getting in the ring for a reasonable market value fight. That's why we see all of these guys. That's why we see them. Okay? That's it. Okay, so don't, like, if these guys don't price themselves out, the fights happen. That's why you see so many of these little guys lace them up, get in the ring, and prove who's the baddest. That's it, and we love it. We absolutely love it. Boxing Source, James. Guys, if you haven't already, please go subscribe to my brother, boxingsource.net, and the Boxing Source here on YouTube, my co-host, and the man with Coach Ronnie Shields every Tuesday night. Says salute to Joe and Coach Gogue. Hit the like button. Yes, thank you. Please hit the like button, guys. Rodney Evans says, I don't see Bam versus Inoue fight happening. Bam is 24 and Inoue's 31. And he's also at 122. Bam just moved back to 115, guys. Now, look, realistically, Gogue, who do you see challenging Bam on the horizon at 15? Or is his next big challenge going to be Junto Nakatani at 18?
How about Ioka?
Oh, he's going to whoop Ioka's ass, getting his revenge for Josh Franco, his brother.
And they got that Martinez guy, Martinez, the IBF champion. So they got a couple.
That's right.
Then Junto, if you don't move up in weight, yeah, that'd be a good match, man. That'd be bring that fight to Japan where the money, where they pay good. Yeah, that would be a good fight.
Yeah,
Junto,
according
Nakatani.
to what I've been told, he's still co-promoted by Honda. Bam. So that's very possible.
How about Junta? What the fuck's his top? That Junto guy.
Yeah, that's Honda in Top Rank as well.
Oh, shit. A fight could be made then.
Yep. That's what I'm saying. Honda is a co-promoter of both fighters. That could easily happen, guys.
Yeah, that'd be a great fight. Rudy Hernandez is guy against Robert Garcia's guy. Ooh, it'd be a good match.
Yep. Excellent. Excellent. But I tell you what, Junto Nakatani is a big one. I can't believe that guy ever made 112, Coach.
Yeah, Rudy wants to move him up, a couple of fights. So this fight better happen before he moves up,
Indeed. He looks a biscuit shy of featherweight already.
He's a big boy.
Refugio Garcia. Welcome to the show, sir. Virgil, the other Mexican monster. I'll tell you what, Virgil Ortiz Jr., that guy is some serious smoke. And we'll see, guys, on August 10th. I'm so glad he's getting his own headlining slot. This should prove to be more advantageous for Virgil as well as Golden Boy Promotions. And he's fighting for the interim WBC title in Sergey Boachuk. And that, wouldn't you say, Coach, that style is tailor-made for Virgil Ortiz Jr.?
You come at Virgil with no defense, you're in trouble.
Yeah. And guys, my brother, Adam Teofimo Lopez, thank you, Adam, for doing a great job calling the Teofimo Lopez, Claggett fight with me last night. Guys, if you didn't hear that yet, go ahead and check it out. It's hilarious. Adam, one of the funniest dudes I know, and great addition to the team. Thank you, brother, for always being there. And this is a gentleman who sparred with Bam when he was just coming up.
Yeah.
And he knows. Bam's a bad dude. Oh, Chingao. But thank you, Adam, for everything yesterday, man. You did a great job. Iceman says this. Ryan Garcia should train with Robert Garcia. Well, who gives a shit? He's going to be out all year.
Ryan Garcia, he's like Tapia. He wants to call his own shots, do his own thing. Robert will train him just to get the money. That's all. Hey, yeah. Hold a couple, go hit the bags. Just just collect a check. That's he ain't gonna listen. He dances to his own music, his own tune, man. Like Tapia was that way, but Tapia put in the damn work. Johnny Tapia, Mi Vida Loca. Yeah, he had an unusual training regimen, but he put in that work.
He sure did. Guys. He worked hard, but he played hard also. Yeah. The legend, Johnny Tapia, Mi Vida Loca. Jesus M says, Joe, do you know the attendance from Bam Gallo in Arizona? Nope, but we're going to find out. Well, you guys are going to find out, and I'm going to find out tomorrow morning when both Jessies come on the show tomorrow, guys. Look forward to that. We'll talk all about that. Boxing Source says, Bam has 2 good fights left at 15, Ioka and Chocolatito. Gogue, do you want to see Chocolatito Gonzalez versus Bam?
If the public demands it, yeah. Because Chocolatito, he's way long in the tooth, but
37. 37.
He's,
Look,
oh,
that would
he's
hurt my
got a
heart,
name,
Gogi.
baby.
That's
And
true.
Chocolatito will take the fight because of the money. But I heard they were sparring in camp and everything. I don't know how it went, but I heard, getting ready for this fight, Chocolatito sparred Bam a couple times. You can ask Bam that tomorrow, man. So,
well, I've already talked to Robert Garcia about that, and he says it was straight fire. He says it's in his top 3 sparring wars ever, all time that it's ever happened in his gym.
Yeah, we'll
talk all about that as well.
It's kind of like, man, why do you got a potential opponent, a big money payday against Bam Rodriguez? What do you want to spar him for? And and make it like a fight, and you're not getting paid. The fuck at 35 years old or 30? How old is Chocolatito?
37.
At 37, why the fuck do you want to get in these wars in the gym with these young kids? You know what I mean? When you got especially when you got a potential fight on the horizon, a big payday with this kid. Don't make sense, man. Stupid.
Gogi, what that tells me is Chocolatito has no intention of fighting Bam Rodriguez in the twilight of his career.
Joe, if the money's right and he ain't got many options in his career, he's gonna take the damn fight. All right.
Oh,
Joe, come on, man. Let's be real. If the money's there,
I know.
The demand is there. He's gonna come back against a fighter I used to train, a guy named Roberto Barrero, a guy from Colombia.
That's right. It's in a couple weeks.
He shouldn't have a problem with Roberto. Roberto, a good fighter, but then again, man, when you're old like that, somebody younger like Roberto, could surprise him. But anyway, Chocolatito, why? Stupid, go to a war, like Robert said, it was basically a war in the gym, and you're not getting paid. At 37, you don't need that, man. When you get that age, Joe, you don't need all that heavy sparring, man. You know what I mean? You got to preserve your body for the real fight, okay, where the payday is. When you get Chocolatito's age, you get sparring partners that's just going to get you in shape, get your timing and rhythm good. You don't get sparring partners that you're going to go to war with and beat you up. Not at 37. It's stupid, man. His people, man. Me. I would never do that to a guy like Chocolatito. I know he's older in the tooth, so we're just, he knows how to fight. He knows how to get in condition. He knows how to go to rounds. So we're just going to get his timing and rhythm right. And going through training camp, he's going to get in that condition automatically because he's been doing this shit since he was, a young guy. And another thing is you're not going to let him have no familiarity with you, meaning Bam. You're not going to let Bam have any familiarity with you on what you could do and this and that. This ego and pride shit, man, always it helped out Bam.
Yep.
Oh, Bam, it's got some familiarity with him too. But Bam is a younger, fresher guy than this guy, Chocolatito. Stupid. I would have never let that happen.
Yep, there it is. And listen, W.A.W, welcome to the show, sir. He says, I don't really want to see Teofimo necessarily with the biggest names, but in the best fights possible. I think Isaac Cruz, Matias, even Pero would be good fights. Well, he can't price himself out then. That's the biggest dilemma with Teofimo Lopez, guys. Understand that. It's the business end. That's all of it. And Sly has the beat. Says, Coach is right. The bolts are going to stay loose without movement. Yes, you've got to stay active, guys. W.A.W also says, I wouldn't mind seeing Gary Antoine Russell against Teofimo either. I don't care about the big names. I just want to see the good fights.
Fuck
Can't
Gary
price
Antoine
himself
Russell.
out then. Yeah. Oh, and Sly has the beat. Look what inactivity did Gary Russell Jr. Yep, that's right. Look, Sly also says, Claggett certainly didn't win, but I was impressed that dude took some big uppercuts. Took a lot of damage. Teofimo, that was his highest output as a professional, and he also landed the most punches of his professional career in one fight. Guys, he tried. Sly says, Liam Pero versus Teofimo Lopez is a great fight. What say you, Coach Gogue, the gentleman who just beat Subriel Matias against Teofimo Lopez in a unification bout?
Fantasy land. I mean, this fight's ain't gonna happen. So what the fuck should I talk about it? You know what I mean?
And there it is, brother. There it is. Look, let's move on, guys. Let's look at the road ahead. Here, let's go. There are a lot of comments, guys, and I don't know if I'm going to be able to get to them. My brother Robert Zen Gonzalez, welcome to the show, sir. Prize fighter says, Coach, using Bam is in the top 5 pound for pound list at this point. Yep, he is, without a doubt. Yeah, there's no doubt about that, guys. He is a special fighter. Khalid said, Chocolatito and Bam are with the same promoter, Tekken. That's Honda. They 100% will not fight each other.
Money, baby, Khalid. If the money's there, they'll fight each other, okay?
Yep.
That's why you're in this sport. It's called prize fighting. The prize is getting paid.
Mm-hmm. Yep. Guys, and so we're going to move on, guys. Look at the schedule ahead this Saturday night from Newark, New Jersey at the Prudential Center. It's going to be Shakur Stevenson versus Artem Harutyunyan in a 12-round main event for Stevenson's WBC lightweight title. Coach Gogue, and in the co-main event, it's going to be Oshaki Foster versus Robson Conceição for Oshaki's WBC junior lightweight title at 130. I really like this. Plus, Keyshawn Davis is going to be on the undercard, as well as William Foster, Kelvin Davis, Abdullah Mason. This is going to be a great fight card from the 6th. Coach Gogue, this is Shakur Stevenson's final fight with Top Rank and ESPN. Does he have to sizzle in order to increase his market value in this?
He better leave a good impression, because if he stinks out the joint like his last fight, ain't people gonna be called. His phone's gonna be real silent. He ain't gonna be taking a lot of calls if he puts on another terrible performance. You better put on a performance where it gets you excited, gets your, what do you call it, your mouth salivating and everything. But yeah, if he puts on another one like he did his last fight,
Well, look, Artem Harutyunyan is a guy who fights from mid to long range with that European style. He's from Uzbekistan. He's a very crafty fighter, and he's not going to take the lead and go after Shakur Stevenson. I see this fight being a potential ugly matchup once again. It's going to be, and the onus is going to be on Shakur Stevenson at home. Coach, this is a potential problem for Shakur.
If he presses the action like he did against Conceição, then it'll be entertaining. If he's physical and assertive and presses the action, don't let that, whatever that guy's name is, that in and out movement, the angles circling around you and all that, cut the ring off and all that, and puts his combinations together. Yeah. But if he tries to make it a chess match and stay at range and both each other play tag, and I'm asleep in the 3rd round, and that just tells you, man, his phone ain't. Joe, if I fall asleep in the 3rd round, 4th round of this fight, I could pretty much guarantee you his phone ain't gonna be ringing. Okay.
Yep, Khalid's got the beat. I'm so glad Shakur is fighting. My sleep schedule will get fixed.
Yeah.
Look, and Tony, thank you for joining us, sir. Thank you for supporting the coach on this day. He says the only person that's going to be desperate enough, even after a bad performance, to sign Stevenson is going to be Eddie Hearn. Look, and then he can kiss his career goodbye. Because what Eddie Hearn does to grab this American talent is he overpays him. Look at Jaron Ennis. He's paying him $3 million to take on David Avanesian. How much you think then he's going to anticipate and expect to fight a guy like Amantas Stanionis or Mario Barrios or even Norman Jr.?
That's not my problem. That's his.
Well, that is his problem. And that's one thing. Look, guys, when are the journalists going to start getting on Eddie Hearn's ass? The thing that they criticize Al Heyman of doing, Eddie Hearn is doing them. The only reason why he's seemingly doing a good job with Bam is because he's not overpaying Bam. That's the only reason why these fights are happening, guys. You have to understand the business of this. And that's a bad trait for any of the talent coming out of America. Do not sign with Hearn. It's going to be good short-term for your career, but then you're going to end up like Devin Haney, Boo Boo Andrade. You're going to be sitting on the shelf because you're going to have an inflated sense of worth.
Joe. You sign with them,
yes, sir,
and you put stipulations. I'm signing because you're going to get me a fight with this guy. I'm going to get paid minimums with this guy. You don't sign when you get to a point like Shakir, you don't sign long-term deals or medium-term deals. You sign 3-fight deals and make sure you get the right, these are the opponents I want to fight. All right. Yeah.
Yep. Well, let's see what happens, guys, because he's going to be aggressively going after Shakur Stevenson because he needs more talent in the American market because he's losing all of his dates to Oscar De La Hoya and Golden Boy Promotions.
Oh,
yep.
Really?
Yeah, of course. Yeah, I mean, look, Oscar De La Hoya, that's been pretty much the biggest standout in the American market in terms of promoter. He's getting all of the dates from DAZN. The developmental dates, he's got the leverage right now because he's got the only moneymaker that they've had on pay-per-view.
Garcia.
That's it. Now he's out for a year.
He lost a lot of that leverage when he got suspended.
Yep. That's it. We'll see what happens, guys. So they need Virgil Ortiz to make a big hit. And they also need to make, the other fight happening this weekend to score a big hit as well. From Ontario, California, Golden Boy Promotions on zone. William Zepeda taking on Giovanni Cabrera from Chicago. In the main event of the evening, Giovanni Cabrera, he almost got a big victory over Isaac Cruz on the undercard of Crawford Spence.
Oh, that guy's style is terrible. Terrible to watch.
William Zepeda. Yep, William Zepeda is going to mow through that tall stiff like a hot knife through butter, guys. This should be a great showing. So, Coach Gogue, does William Zepeda versus Shakur Stevenson actually happen later this year?
Well, he's number one, I hear, across the board, Zepeda. Yep. So he could pick, Golden Boy smart. They can force a mandatory who they could pick as a champion. Who's the weak link out of everybody? They got Shakir, they got Tank, and who else is the champion?
Lomachenko.
Okay, so they got those three.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, man. And they got that Ukraine guy. I say he's a weak link because he got an awkward, funny style. Yeah. Yep,
Barenchik.
Yeah, he might be the guy to go after and everything to force the issue. Paco, just call Paco to say, hey, we're the number one contender, make it happen and everything. Or Aram has a guy, so Aram and De La Hoya work. They can make that fight happen and everything. But yeah, Cepeda's due to win. To fight for the title. Yeah, he's due. But that Barenchik is whatever. I can't remember whatever his name is. He's a difficult fighter. He has a difficult style to deal with, and Navarrete found that out.
Yep. I tell you what, from the Ukraine, he looked very, very good, very awkward style to deal with. So, in your mind, who should William Zepeda fight next? Who do you think? Because obviously, Tank versus Lomachenko, that's all but done for November. That's a unification bout. Then you've got Shakur Stevenson, who's going to be a free agent. Then you've got Barenchik. Right? Who would you pick if you're William Zepeda and Oscar De La Hoya? Eric Gomez.
And Barenchik, who the fuck are the champions? Lomachenko, Tank, Shakir. Man, maybe this, Shakir is a tough style to fight, man. You know what I mean? Plus, he's going to be a free agent. So, man. They're all, hey, Joe, I'd go after that Ukrainian guy. That Ukrainian guy, his style won't be as difficult as Shakir, and he's not a big puncher. And that will give that'll let Zepeda put that pressure on him without worrying about getting hurt by punches coming in. Yeah.
Yep, and there you have it, Coach. We're going to look through the rest of the schedule, Coach. Give me your thoughts before we say goodnight to everybody. On July 12th, the following Friday, Roman Chocolatito Gonzalez on ESPN Plus from Managua, Nicaragua. Roman Gonzalez is going to be taking on Robert Barrera.
Yeah, my ex-fighter
you're familiar with. Yep.
Yeah.
And then the following night, oh boy, talk about night all. Las Vegas on ESPN. Janibek Ali Manala is going to defend his WBO and IBF middleweight titles against Andrei Mikhailovich. And then you've got Raymond Murataya versus Tevin Farmer on the undercard with Ruben Villa, big ticket seller in California, versus Salman Segawa.
It's underwhelming a card. Nobody, Muratala is the only guy I'd be interested in watching. And Tevin Farmer is the former IBF junior lightweight champion, so let's see what he had. Don Chargan was a master at developing fighters, especially, as their fighters were coming up. Right before they got to the big stage, for the big major title fight, he would put them in with former world champions that were past their prime. You know what I mean? Yeah. And Top Rank's pretty much following that game plan. So
there it is. There it is. And then July 13th, that same night from Philadelphia, the Wells Fargo Center, Jaron Boots Ennis taking on David Avanesian for Ennis's IBF welterweight title. Coach, what do you expect to see from this matchup?
Is that Avanesian? Didn't he get knocked out by Crawford?
Yes, sir. Same guy.
He's going to get the shit beat out of him by Boots Ennis.
Also, Henry Lebron's going to be taking on Christopher Diaz-Velez, as well as Jalil Major Hackett in his first fight on Matchroom Support against Peter Dobson. Also, coming up July 20th, speak of the devil, ESPN Plus. Wow, from Tokyo, Japan, it's going to be Junto Nakatani versus Vincent Astrolabio for Nakatani's WBC bantamweight title. Woo!
Yeah. Nakatani, I like him. Yeah, Rudy's done a great job with him, throughout his whole career. Rudy Hernandez. Yeah, the trainer. Yeah.
Yep.
So he's I like that Nakatani. Good, yeah. He's a good fighter. Solid champion.
Coach, and then August 3rd, we've got Izzy Madrimov, the big one, Riyadh season in LA, in America, his first promotion in the American market. It's going to be on DAZN pay-per-view. Izzy Madrimov versus Terrence Bud Crawford. As Crawford's debut at 154 pounds for Madrimov's WBA Super Junior middleweight title. Coach Gogue, Eddie Hearn truly believes that Israel Madrimov is going to shock the world and upset Terrence Crawford. Do you see that happening?
Yeah, he's strong, big. He's a strong kid, good puncher. Yeah, like I said, once you fight a puncher, you get hit on the chin, anything can happen. But Crawford, skilled, intelligent, king of making adjustments, ambidextrous, pound for pound, one of the best fighters in the world. He shouldn't have a problem.
There it is. We've got Big Snickers versus Big Syringe. Andy Ruiz versus Jarrell Big Baby Miller in your co-main event in the heavyweight division. Coach Gogue, are you looking forward to this fight?
Next. I don't care.
Yeah. And another title fight on that card is a great matchup. Isaac Pitbull Cruz defending his WBA junior welterweight title against Rayo Jose Valenzuela.
Yeah. Pitbull always puts on good fights, just an explosive puncher, okay? Just aggressive, physical, goes for the knockout. Yeah, that's what fans want to see. He's from Mexico, so he's building a big a big following from Mexico. Yeah. Pitbull is becoming very popular and everything. So
yeah. It's good to see. It couldn't happen to a nicer, better guy who comes from nothing. Also on that card, Dave Morrell Jr. fighting for the first time at 175 pounds, fighting for the WBA vacant regular light heavyweight title, whatever the hell that means, against Hot Rod Kalachik. Oh, boy, this guy's going to get his ass whooped by Dave Morrell Jr., who's coached by our brother Ronnie Shields.
Yeah.
Yeah, moving on. And on that same card, guys, Jared Big Baby Anderson stepping up, taking on Martin Buckley in your 10-round heavyweight special attraction. Coach Gogue, is there an upset potential on this one?
I never thought about it, Joe, to tell you the truth. I was expecting him to fight Deontay Wilder, but he's so shot. They wouldn't allow him to fight, so... Yeah, we'll see.
And there it is, guys. And then the following weekend from Albuquerque, New Mexico on ESPN, Luis Alberto Lopez versus Angelo Leo for Lopez's IBF featherweight title. I love this fight, Coach.
Good fight. A good fight for Luis Lopez. Yeah, good fight. Alberto Lopez. Yeah,
indeed. And on the undercard, Vito Milnecki Jr.'s first his debut with Top Rank on ESPN, taking on the dreaded TBA.
Is this fight in New Mexico? Albuquerque?
This fight's in Albuquerque, New Mexico, sir. Yes.
Okay. Yeah, because Leo, that Leo guy is from Albuquerque, so they had to fight a fighter with some hometown appeal, and Albuquerque is a good market.
Yep. And Lindolfo Delgado fighting in another 10-round, taking on Brian Flores. Coach, what do you want to see from Lindolfo Delgado? It's time to step up, sir.
I really don't follow the guy much, to tell you the truth.
Okay, and then that same day, guys, from Las Vegas, Nevada, Sergey Boachuk versus Virgil Ortiz Jr.
Yeah.
Your 12-round main event for the WBC Junior Interim Junior Middleweight title. Coach, yeah, we've already spoken on this. This looks like it's tailor-made for Virgil Ortiz Jr. Yeah. What are the chances of us seeing an upset? Because Virgil, he hasn't seen competition like this in a couple of years because of health reasons. Could we see some ring rust from Virgil Ortiz Jr.?
How many fights has he had lately?
He's had 2, but they've both been first-round knockouts against shot fighters and no-hopers.
So he got a few of the rope. He got some of the rust off, and as long as he's staying active, Joe. That's what I mean. He's like I said. He every time he trained for them fights, he went through the professional process, like I talked about earlier. So yeah. So it's not going to be a shock for him to get ready for a fight, because he just had a couple of them. So, yeah, this guy's tailor-made for Virgil. The guy that's physical right in front of you and that doesn't have good defense. Come on, man. Virgil's a damn good puncher. Yeah.
Nope, he's got that underrated, intelligent jab. It's so difficult to see when he's going to tee off on you. Yeah. Oh, boy. It's a thing of beauty. Maybe the most underrated jab in boxing at this time. August 17th in Quebec City, Canada on ESPN. Christian Mbili versus Sergey Derevyanchenko. A very pivotal matchup in your main event on ESPN. Oh, at 168. That's going to be a good fight. Oh, that's going to be a great fight. Coach Gogue, who do you favor in your initial mindset on this?
Oh, you got to go with the younger guy, the guy that has less miles on his engine. Derevyanchenko's been in some great wars, makes great fights, but he's got a lot of miles on his engine, and he's easy to hit. And Billy guy's a good puncher. You know what I mean?
Yep. So it's going to be interesting. But this is Mbili's by far his toughest test to date. We'll see what happens. We'll see what Sergey still has in the tank. And then the last one we're going to talk about, couple more. August 24th from Manchester, England on zone. Jack Catterall versus Regis Prograde. Can you say a snoozer, Coach?
Hey, Joe, let's call it a day, man. We're getting too far.
Last one I want to get your opinion on. Just one more, Coach. From London, it was just announced, DAZN pay-per-view, September 21st. Daniel Dubois versus Anthony Joshua in your 12-round main event for the vacant IBF heavyweight title.
Resurgence of Dubois. He's finally grown some balls. Joshua, Eddie Hearns has been keeping him active. So he's got a few good wins under his belt. He's got that renewed confidence. So you have two guys going in the fight with a high degree of confidence, believing they could beat each other. Big heavyweights, they're well known. It's going to be a sold out crowd there. Great atmosphere. A great regional fight. They don't give a shit about that fight over here in the States, but in England, it makes sense. Yeah, it's going to be, I'll be watching that one. I didn't even know they were fighting. Yeah.
Yep. It was just announced by my brother, Chihuahua. I'm sorry. We'll talk about that tomorrow. We're going to get him on the show this week sometime. But that was just announced, and that's going to be at Wembley. Riyadh, the Saudis' first big fight card in the UK market, and it's going to be at Wembley in front of, they're expecting close to 90,000 fans for this one.
That
Daniel Dubois versus Anthony Joshua.
I didn't even know they were fighting, but I knew once you mentioned that, I'm like, okay, both guys are coming off some good wins. Both guys are, have a high degree of confidence in themselves that they could beat each other. Now they're going to have 90,000 fans. Oh yeah, makes sense. When's that fight? August what?
September 21st, sir.
Oh, September 21st. Okay, that's it's good.
Yep, big things happening this year in boxing, and we haven't even mentioned December 21st, which is the date of the rematch. Alexander Usyk, Tyson Fury. Coach Gogue, if you had to make an initial
Joe, let's call it a day, man. I mean, come on, man. I mean, it's getting past my time, man. I can give you shit. We'll figure that fight out later.
Very good, guys. The coach has spoken. And that's it, guys. We want to thank all of you guys for supporting the coach on this day. But on behalf of the 5-decade fight trainer, Coach James Gogue, I'm Joseph Heron. You've been listening to War Week Boxing. Have a great evening, everybody.
Holdings proudly presents War Week Radio with 5-decade fight trainer, Coach James Gogue.